You're not in a competition. You're not in a competition to see how long you can live out of a car. You're not in a competition to see how much you can save. If you do anything from the aspect of that you are trying to beat someone else or prove something to someone else, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. As an adult, we have to try to make healthy decisions, and we try to evaluate the risk reward, and then we are willing to deal with the pros and the cons. And for me, deciding to sell my house and live in my car came with pros and cons. And I've been doing it for 5 years, and it caused me to lose some relationships. It's caused me to be uncomfortable, but it has also allowed me to live my dream faster. But also, because I managed my life prior to living in my car, that's why I'm really able to enjoy living out of my car. My personal habits and my career were already situated. I already had peace before I hit the road. I already had prosperity before I hit the road. I just needed to escalate some things, and I just wanted to seize the moment in my life. All that being said, let me get into some of the lessons that I've learned living on the road as a nomad, then we'll get to all the live comments. The first thing I've learned, and that I have to remind myself, you have to repeat what you need to remember. What I learn, and I constantly have to remind myself, is stay flexible. An example is there is traffic going to the gym you want to go to. Either take a different route or deal with it, but don't get disgruntled. Because you are living on wheels, you're not fighting to get back to anywhere. You have to let go of this impulse in your mind to have everything go smooth. If you go to the coffee shop and they don't have soy milk, they only have regular milk, stay flexible. Let go. If you go to a parking spot and someone's in it and you're normally in it and that's where you go, stay flexible. When you have nothing, pretty much materialistic wise, your mind can still have OCD and you obsess over something. The ability to let go daily is a discipline. Stay flexible in the route that you take, in the food that you eat. Something is out of stock. What are you worried about? You don't have to mow a lawn. You don't have to deal with a landlord, but you have to deal with traffic. You have to deal with the public, and you have to deal with adapting. Stay flexible. The other lesson I learned living on the road is, again, you're not in a competition, so don't worry about your car. Don't worry about your window tints. Don't worry about upgrading your vehicle. The biggest trap of the nomad, specifically the financially low-income nomad, is they upgrade their vehicle instead of upgrading their mindset. And they were broke living in an apartment or a house, and they will be broke living on the road because their asset allocation is out of order. The first thing you need is a savings account and the ability to manage your money. The second thing you need is discipline to remember rule number 1. If you think you need window tints, you haven't been living in your car for 5 years. If you think you need a new vehicle, you haven't been living in your car for 5 years. If you think you need a gadget, you don't. What you need is a disciplined mind and the grace of God always. But you're not in competition. What you're in is a lifestyle to be outdoors more. What you're in is a lifestyle to take care of less stuff. What you're in is a vehicle to get you from A to B, from experience to experience. Your car is not the experience, the journey is the experience. These are lessons learned. You appreciate these lessons, click that thumbs up. This can apply to a lot of things in life. Number 3, don't risk too much money. Why? Because after you make money, the biggest threat to money is trying to double your money. You'll lose all your money. This goes with stocks, gambling, cryptocurrency, and anything else. If you sell everything, or if you leave everything and you live in your car and you get a little money and you risk too much, you will feel so bad about your nomadic life. The grace of God be with you if you did that. This is about going forward, not going backwards. This is about sharing lessons learned. Mitigate your risk financially. Because if you're not getting ahead financially, you don't feel free. You don't have a house, you don't have a landlord, but you also don't have a pot to piss in. And the little bit of money you had, you squandered it on some type of an investment. You thought you were going to get more. Nothing's guaranteed in this world. Nothing's a sure thing. You say, well, I'm scared that inflation will eat up my savings. I want to tell you that's a poor person's mindset. Okay. Because rich people recognize and middle class people recognize there's inflation. But I want to tell you, most people who understand business realize your biggest threat to your money is risking too much, not inflation. A mature mind understands this. Inflation will disappear when the undisciplined people spend all their money. You know the type of people, they'll buy a brand new RV, then complain about gas goes up $1. You know the people, they'll spend a couple $100s on tinting their windows, but then they'll complain about gas. Guys, if gas prices are your problem, you got bigger problems. Because after living on the road for 5 years, gas will go up and go down and may go straight up. And if you're not prepared for that, you're not prepared for the road. This is more important than window covers. Manage your risk. Your perimeter. This is another lesson. Click that thumbs up. Very important lesson here. The Nomad's perimeter is this. The 24-hour gym. And note that Planet Fitness is no longer 24/7 in most areas. So you may need a supplemental gym membership. Anytime Fitness, maybe LA Fitness, check your area. Your gym is one perimeter. That's your bathroom, that's your shower. Maybe you self-camp there. You need a Starbucks or a cafe. That's your workspace. That's your rec room. That's your Wi-Fi. That's your air conditioning. That's your day spot. The public beach or the public park that you're going to go to, you need outdoor activity. You need to go for a walk. The rest area, the truck stop, this is another sleeping area. You need to always have 2 or 3 sleeping areas. You are not entitled to park anywhere you want anytime. You need a perimeter of 3 to 4 places. The gym, the Starbucks, the public park, the rest area. And you need to look at those areas every time you go to a new town. And you need to know several towns to go to if one area gets hot. If the town gets hot, if they crack down on things or things are going on, you got to be able to move. Again, back to rule number 1, stay flexible. You are no longer part of a community. You are now a nomad, a drifter, a traveler. The person who gets stuck is the homeless loiterer. Loitering is against the law. That means staying in one area too long. You're not moving. You're not flexible. These are lessons learned 5 years on the road. You will be looked at by some as the homeless person. You will be looked at by others by the adventure seeker. Your mindset and the way you handle yourself and others determine how other people view you to a certain extent. Remember Eddie Murphy in Coming to America. He worked at McDowell's, but he handled himself like a king. Remember, technically you are homeless, but if you handle yourself with dignity and you keep it moving, you should not be on the cops' radar. You're on the cops' radar if you loiter, if you sit in one area, if you don't move, and if you are not in a good place. Final lesson, then we're going to go to all live comments. Again, if you haven't, click that thumbs up if you appreciate these videos. Click that blue join button. You want to support the channel. Thank you to all my members. One of the final lessons, have your exit strategy. There's a saying, never go into war unless you know how to get out of war. You can lose a nation by getting into a war but not knowing how to get out of it. You can lose your sanity and your stability by getting into the nomadic life and not knowing how you're going to get out. How do you get out? Well, you got to have at least first and last month's security deposit and savings. That's at least 5 to 7,000. I think you always need at least $10,000 in savings. For the destitute, we'll talk about you in a minute. Or you have to look at buying a house again, and the housing market may be up. The housing market is higher than when I sold my house 5 years ago. Do I regret living in my car? No. Why? Because I'm not chasing the housing market. I'm living my life. I planned, I'm prepared, and I don't fear inflation, guys, even though it's real. Why? Guys, it is what it is. I understand the pros and the cons, the risks and the rewards. But your age determines how quickly you will need to get off the road. The average life expectancy is 80. I am 41. If I was 75, I would want a home base. Or at least have enough money that I know I'd get off this road whenever the fuck I want. 55 to 75, you need to know an exit strategy. Even before then, guys, even at 41, it's always in your mind, if something happens, what do? I have to pay for a hotel. I have to Airbnb. And it can play with your mind, not after 1 week, not after 1 month, after years, because it's always something going to be there. So you have to know how you're going to get off the road and how long are you going to wait and what's your general outline. Don't rush to buy. Don't rush to buy. Don't rush to buy. Now, for the very destitute, if you're low income in America and you have no assets, you'll get a subsidized apartment. But you need to go on a list and you need to follow their protocol. You need to see a social worker. If you don't want to do that because you say you can figure out your own life, but you can't hold your own job, you're delusional. What I'm saying is not helping you. If you cannot hold a job and you're saying you don't need help from a social worker, don't complain. Don't complain about gas. Don't complain about society. Society has social workers, EBT cards, subsidized house for those who can't function. There's nothing wrong with those programs, but you have to admit that you need help and follow the protocol. If you're not, then you are a delusional, dangerous person on the road. You're the type of people that you got to avoid. Okay. Because even though you may be good intentions, you're not rational. And so look, the blows of a friend can be trusted, but the kisses of an enemy are deadly. The person who tells you to go in the middle of the desert to live and you're destitute, that may make you feel like you got kissed, but it's deadly. Because they're going to buy an ATV and be a multimillionaire, and you'll be some old person in the desert with a pot to piss in. Now, you may be living your best life, but let me see you after 5 years. Remember, guys, you can get bogged down in a war for 10 years and do nothing. And remember, you can go in a desert for 10 months and camp for free, and you can be left with nothing. These are some of the lessons that I've learned as 5 years, full-time nomad, no home base. But a job, the ability to show up, the grace of God. Guys, look, I share all these things with you that you can control. I could have gotten a car accident the day I left in my car in my life. My road could be totally different. I know some people that became a nomad, they got in a car accident. So I can't be too boastful, even in this wisdom. At any time, guys, life can just change like this. I'm not saying you should fear that, but I'm saying you have to recognize that. Live your life responsibly in the grace of God. Let's go to all live comments again. If you appreciate these videos, click the thumbs up. It's for free, and I thank you. All my members, I see Pat going here, that support the channel. Thank you. You want to be a member, click that blue join button. Let's go to live comments. If I skip a comment, please type it again. Andre, great to see you. Pat Go, hey Sam, how are you? Charlie, so positive. Marcus, hey Sam, I really appreciate your wisdom. Thank you for inspiring many of us. Thank you very much, Marcus, for the positive comment. Peter Pan, do you think you lost a lot of money by not buying a house for 5 years ago? No. Why? Because it's an asset allocation. And you have to factor in property taxes, home insurance, maintenance, and utilities for 5 years. And then you have to figure out where you want to live. And then you have closing costs. And then when you sell it, you have commission cost. I've bought and sold real estate, so I know what I'm missing and what I'm not. And so it's a fair question. But you got to, kind of work that out in your mind. ESP, it's great to see you, ESP. Remember, keep it simple. You have the NV200. I don't think they make them anymore. No need to rush for a Class B van at your age. You did the right thing. You took the promotion. The next step will be whatever you want it to be. Why? Because you don't need to tell me, you don't need me to tell you what to do. You're very smart and I love you. Charlie, wow, Sam, it's amazing how fast time flies. Yeah, I'm actually going into my 6th year. I just passed my 5th. Now, in many ways, I would have had a home base already being this past year. I still look at them. I have, this past couple of weeks, I have been re-sparked, rejuvenated about the nomad life. But there's always going to be something in your mind as a nomad that you think about a home base, always. In the beginning, maybe not so much. And then as years go by, I think about it. And I still may pull the trigger. But when in doubt, I don't buy. I thank God for the grace of God, because you do worry that anytime anything can happen. But you take life one day at a time. I just got through another day without a house. And I did everything I wanted to do. I went to the beach. I worked out. I worked at Starbucks. I ate whatever I want. I ate healthy. I ate kale salad from the supermarket. I spent a little bit more on food, a little bit more on gas. I don't have home equity, but to me, it's a trade-off for me that I'm willing to do with asset allocation at this point. Again, now that I'm in Florida and I really like Florida 90% of the year, I'm definitely looking at home bases, but there's a part of it that's a burden. I thought about that today. If I had a home base today, would it really have helped me? You know, at night, it may be nice to go back to, but look, again, it comes with maintenance, or it comes with an HOA fee, it comes with entanglements. It just comes with things that it's tough to commit for me. I'm not negative on them, because I tell you guys the risks of the nomad life. And just the other week, I had a breakdown. You saw the negative of that. So, you know, it is what it is. Back to the live comments. Keeping up with Bree, you're so beautiful. You're so smart. Heart back to you. I want to tell you, you keep doing your thing. Don't let anyone. We're going to do a video probably tomorrow. I wrote it down on my phone, but I called it audible today because I stayed flexible. We're going to do a video probably tomorrow or so labeled "Never Let Them Make You Your Second Option." Why? Because once they treat you like a second option, they always will. So there's nothing wrong with being alone for a season of your life. And in today's world, I think forever. So you just got through another day keeping up with Bree without being in a relationship, and you're fine. We just got through another day, and it's not the end of the world. Think about all the people who are waiting for the nuke that another day passed. And guys, not the end of the world. Now, if the world ends tomorrow, what does it matter, guys? You had today and you wasted it worrying. There's a scripture that says, what can all the worry in the world do? And the answer is nothing. Today's trouble is enough for today. Focus on getting through today. Justin, everyone out there, focus on getting through today. Good job. Pat Go, I love you. Pat Go, I'm exhausted. I pulled up and dug up hundreds of tiny trees at somebody's house. Pat Go, you are so positive. I want so many great things for you and your goals and your dreams. But I can tell you this. You were productive today. That will keep you away from worry. That will keep you away from depression. Even if you're aggravated, it's better to do something than to sit in your bed and think about bad stuff. Pat Go, thumbs up to you. Thank you. Paul, how are you feeling? I feel pretty good. I'm very thankful for that today. What you think about shooting? I didn't hear anything about that. About a shooting, I think people get shot every day. Would they tell us in Paid in Full? People die every day, B. So to me, guys, look, that's part of life. What do you think about the car accidents that didn't get reported? I don't worry about that stuff. Why? And it can happen to any of us. What do you think about the home invasion that happened last night that didn't get reported? Are you going to sell your house? So look, guys, I will definitely say this. You can go looking for trouble. You can stay in a bad neighborhood. You can stay around conflict. I've been around shootings. And what I can tell you guys is most of the time you kind of know something about to pop off. Why? Guys, it's part of that deal. So you can avoid a lot of it. You can't avoid all of it, though. So all I can tell you is you got to move in wisdom and pray for the grace of God. Pat, my feet and ankles have become strong from wearing minimal support shoes. Well, my feet get weak from wearing Walmart shoes. That's why I bought brand new K-Swiss. Your shoes are the most important thing. They're the foundation of your walking. You need to get away from the cheapness, and you need to buy some good support shoes. Okay, good support. K-Swiss. Some of the Nikes are suspect, even some of the Reebok ones. So, I like these K-Swiss. Good job, Pat Go. We are supposed to grill chicken, but maybe too tired from today. That's the thing about owning a house. You're productive, and then you buy all this food, you load up your shopping cart, you go to the 100 items or more aisle, then you wrestle the 20,000 pack of waters, then you wrestle all the raw meat, then you bring it up into your house, then you put everything in a shelf and in the refrigerator, and then you're too tired to cook. And then you got to clean after you cook. I will never be in the non-express aisle again. I will never cook on a stove. I will never buy my own water. I refuse to live a life where I don't have other people prepare my food by eating out. I refuse to buy bottled water because it doesn't taste the same. I'm not buying my own ice. Until I get a home base, then we'll see. But till now, let's enjoy this thing. If you haven't already, guys, click that thumbs up. I got 59 people watching. I appreciate every one of you. I want to tell you tomorrow, every day, just smile, show up, and don't get shot. And don't shoot anyone. And you will go further in life. But if you come to work or you don't go to work, one is nothing good's going to happen. Then if you frown and you talk about a shooting rather than something positive, no one wants to deal with you. Why? You're a negative influence. Pay to Nolan. $4.99. Pay to Nolan. Pay to Nolan. Pay to Nolan. Thank you, brother. Getting ready to start electrician school. Any advice? Yes. Show up at the job site during the day. Go to school at night. You're not going to know what an electrical conduit bender is. Don't worry about it. Your job as an electrician apprentice is to get the coffee, to carry the materials and learn the materials. Learn what a 3/4 EMT coupling is. In school, keep your mouth shut, cheat a little bit if you have to look over on the test results, and go to school enough to attend it to pass. Work, carry the material, don't cause a problem to your journeyman electrician. Learn the material, learn the couplings, learn the connectors, learn the wire sizes. Fuck some shit up and show up the next day. School is the second thought. In school, just take notes and take the test as many times as you need. But if you don't go to work, school is for people who don't want to work. Never forget that. School is for people who don't want to work. School is important, but only when you've shown the ability to work. Because if you go to school for 20 years, but you don't know how to work for 2 years straight, you will be broke as fuck. So that's the number one piece of advice I can give you from my experience. What did I do? For 5 years, I worked during the day as an apprentice electrician. And for 5 years, I went to school at night. So I am practicing what I'm preaching. I am speaking from experience. And that's the number one thing I can tell you, man. You'll figure it out. Just keep showing up even when you're scared out of your mind. Hey, Peyton Nolan, when you have to put on a harness because you're going to go 20 feet up in the air and you're scared, show up. That has nothing to do with school. Are you ready to go on a jack lift wearing a harness that you have to rope off? Are you ready to wear gloves, a hard hat, to cut unistrut? Even if you're not ready, show up and deal with the pain so you can build your career. If not, you have to live with your ungrateful family and you have to pay back school debt because you didn't show up. That is the reality of life. Thank you, Peyton Nolan. Thank you, Peyton Nolan. Thumbs up to you. Back to live comments. If I miss a comment, please type it again. I love you, Peyton Nolan. Announcer 3. How did you overcome the mental barrier and decide what you were going to be single for life? Because I did a self-evaluation in my mid to late 20s and I said, wow, I'm thankful for the women I was in relationships with. They were a blessing. It's a blessing to be in love and to feel that compassion with a woman. But I also realized I don't have the personality or the makeup to be in a long-term relationship. I know my strengths and my weaknesses. You know that as you get older. Your brain doesn't fully develop till 25. You don't know who you are till 35. So as I got closer to 35, I realized that I'm fortunate that I don't have kids, and I realized that I have to feel the pain of being alone because there's more pain in being in a relationship for me. And I tried to date one more time in my 30s and it didn't work out. And I said, man, I know myself. So look, I still see a beautiful woman. I still like to flirt. Um, and but I got through another day and I'm single and I'm happy. And most people who are watching me are in relationships and miserable. That doesn't mean for everyone, but in my experience, you'll know yourself as you get to your late 20s and 30s. If you have children, you have to take care of them. If you don't have children, I would really say evaluate your life and look at your past patterns, your patterns. If you have a pattern of getting in a relationship and not being fulfilled and happy, only after the initial spike of the relationship wears off, it's more work than joy, kind of like a house, then just remember, you have to really think about the pros and cons. Laura, $10 super chat. Laura, you are a blessing. You are a hard-working, positive woman. I want the Lord to bless you, your husband. Thank you for sharing your journey with me, Laura. Thank you for being a kind, hard-working, positive person in this world. Laura, another day passed and the nuke didn't happen. You are part of the solution in this world. Laura, hey, Sam. Been enjoying your videos, but cannot always catch them. Stay well. Well, thank you, Laura. May you come as you want and leave as you want. I thank you, Laura. I thank you, Laura. I thank you, Laura. Back to live comments. We all long for intimate relationships. I've been in them. They're a blessing, but they become a burden, even though we may logically know that we are not made for them. It's a tough decision. I'm not going to lie to you to separate. Most people will not separate. But look, like I said, I stopped smoking cigarettes. I stopped drinking alcohol. I stopped hanging out in the club. I showed up at work when I was scared as hell. Most people won't do that. So, but all I can tell you is most people are miserable. I'm not saying living in your car is the answer. I'm not saying being single is the answer. But I am saying, think about what I said. Good job. Pat Go. Fresh air and sun abundance in the house. I smelt and tasted the salt water and the fresh breeze of the Atlantic Ocean today. I had vitamin D, and I still have vitamin D pumping through my blood from the sun. And it was a blessing. Thank you, Pat. Peyton Nolan was just watching a scientist talk about the AI robot that his company created. Lazy people better step up. No, lazy people better try to live another 100 years because there will be robots. But the bad news is the earth will be too hot to go outside. And the lazy sloth will be stuck in their house worrying about shootings, nuclear bombs, and the robots taking over. You know, forget about like world conspiracies about a vaccine. Imagine robots taking over. Oh, Bill Gates created the robot. Now we can't use the robot. Guys, people are going to be miserable even when robots do everything. Remember, guys, before the Industrial Revolution, there was no air conditioner. There was no heater. There was no modern house. Everyone was working the farm. Guys, people are delusional how good they got it. But like I said, guys, I know a guy married a girl from a third world country. Now she's in America. She eats whatever she wants. She got a nice house, and she complains about gas prices. What does that tell us? Look, guys, people like to complain. Don't even worry about it. Pat Goat. Announcer, you sound young with energy. Someday your energy will run out. That's true. And you won't care. Well, that's the good part about getting old. I'm there now. Yeah. Now, Pat Go did have to go back up north. She loves Arizona, but she had to go back up north to Michigan because I think her husband or her significant other got sick. Part of relationships is not just they look good in intimacy, they can get sick and suffer for a long time, and you have to watch that decay and take care of them. Are you ready for that part of a relationship, or do you just want the good part? A girl once told me, she goes, Sam, you don't like a relationship. You like the idea of a relationship. The reality of a relationship is they may have a serious disease and you may like it for a while, or you may be willing to deal with it. But when there's no hope of getting better and they don't just die right away, that can destroy your life. And you know who's going to bring them food? Their second choice. Their second choice, some guy or some girl they'll never want to get with, they'll bring them food. They'll look to take care of them. And then as soon as that person recovers, they're going to go back to treating them like a second choice. And then now, yeah, you can have them. But guys, it's a whole horrible thing. We're going to do a whole video about the second choice. Classic. What's up, Classic? Don't you ever just want to lay in a bed and watch TV? No, I did that for 15 years. I had a house. I had that season of life. On your tablet and play video games? No, but I did do that in the early part of my life. So I don't want to be a hypocrite if that's the season of life that you're in. But I've been there. I've done both. Keeping up with Bree. I'm so excited that I got a new job. Good. That is literally the easiest job I ever had. Well, every new job is easy, just like every new relationship. I want you to keep that job for at least 3 years. That's the hard part. And helps my mental health. I'm so grateful. Well, only because it's new. If you quit that job within 3 years, now you have a bad recurring pattern of quitting a job every couple years. And then you go into a negative algorithm of now you're scared to work. Now you're in your 30s or 40s and you didn't push past a painful job. And now you're going to have to go see a social worker, apply for disability 3 times. You're going to feel horrible about yourself. You'll be at Planet Fitness at midnight, driving your mother crazy during the day and typing all types of shit at night. I want to tell all my young people the time to deal with jobs you don't like is in your 20s and into your beginning of your 30s. Because if you do that by the end of your 30s, now you've built a career, you've built the endurance, you've built the resume, and now you've moved up. If you keep changing jobs and going to easier jobs, you will have a relief initially, but long term you will suffer. That's in general terms. There are exceptions. Good job. Peyton Nolan, thank you again. I hope my words helped you. I shared my honest experience. I thank you, Peyton Nolan. I thank you, Peyton Nolan. AR6, what's your opinion on having little to no expectations to help negate fear of failure and disappointed? Fuck it. If you're scared to fail, you have already failed. However, if you go forward without wisdom, you have failed. So take the precautions, do the research, don't be delusional. After that, fuck it. There's a balance of thought. You can't let fear rule your life, but you can't do things naively. You have to have a balance. Hopefully that helps. Pat Go, AR6, just roll with it and keep moving. But bring wisdom with you, patience and discipline. Remember, I lived in my car for 2 years in New Jersey. Why? Wait for a job transfer. Why? Your independence is tied to your financial ability and your ability to discipline yourself. Clinton, hey, hope you're doing good. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you also, Clinton. Thank you. Pat, AR6, breathe in deep, hold, exhale slowly. Yeah, you could do a breathing exercise, but remember, guys, after the baby's born, after those breathing exercises, then you got to do the work. Remember, after you do the breathing exercises on your break from work, then you got to go back and get shit done. Good job. John Kearns, thank you, John. $5 super chat. Thanks for the inspiration. Thank you for the positive comment and tip. Quick question. Any tips on getting in shape? Yes. Go for a walk. Wake up at 5 a.m. Don't take a nap. And just eat out less. Now, if you're a nomad, eat salads more, less fried foods, more grilled foods. When I lived in a house, that's when I got my life together. I was obese when I lived in a house. And then I was anorexic. And then I balanced my life for 3 years after that, before I get the road. So the first step is stop eating out if you live in a house. If you're living on the road, stop eating fried food and fast food. Go to the supermarket and get salads. Then don't take a nap. Why? Because that's going to mess up your sleep cycle and then you'll be eating at night. Studies show that people who eat after 10 p.m. are obese and have health problems and mental problems. So if you wake up early, you don't take naps, you walk, and you're conscious about what you eat, that's how you get in shape. The gym is after that. After those foundational things, then try to go to the gym 5 days a week for at least just 15 minutes. Just 15 minutes. That'll get your foot in the door, keep your body flowing, and discipline your mind. Good job. Hopefully that helps. That's from my experience. Good job. Thank you. Laura, thank you again, Laura. You've been a blessing to me, Laura. I pray for you and your husband, and I thank you. You came to this country, you built the American dream, and you're living the American dream. Is the American dream perfect? Nothing is perfect. But I want to tell you guys, if you can go to any country in the world, where would you go? And if you're there right now, type it in the live chat and tell me that you're living the dream. Live your best life. Good job. Money. Shout out from, here we go. Here's someone from around the world. Belize. Well, shout out to you. Shout out to Shine. Shine shot up the club, got arrested in Manhattan, and then got deported back to Belize. And then he became a politician. Why? You know, he's got to do what you got to do in Belize. There are not as many job opportunities in Belize as in New York. But I will say this. I love the Caribbean vibe, the Caribbean culture. I'm in South Florida, close to the Caribbean. I'm basically in the Caribbean. And what I could tell you is love to Belize. Love to everyone. I like the laid back vibes. But like I said, guys, you need a level of opportunity to live your best life. And again, America's not perfect, but I still think if you can get to America, whether as a war refugee, a work visa, etc., do what you got to do. Now, if you're happy and you have the opportunity where you want to live and where you are living, then do your thing. Because I believe that no matter where you live, Belize, Boston, Afghanistan, Israel, Russia, Ukraine, you know, there's different pros and cons to every environment, but do what you got to do to make your life better. Okay. Love and respect to everyone all around the world. Laura, thank you. Anyway, got to go again. Thank you very much, Laura, for coming in, and thank you for that gracious tip. Paul, I love being single, but I definitely getting married one day, Lord willing. Well, best of luck to you. Everyone has the right to choose what they want. That's your choice. I love you. Thank you. Keeping up with Bree. At 27, I prefer my freedom than having kids. Well, I agree with that. Just remember, when you get into your 30s, when your clock is going into a nuclear meltdown, there's going to be something in your DNA that tells your mind, I got to have a kid. And what I can tell you is talk to someone who's in their 50s who had a kid. I dated a MILF who was 53. She said, Sam, I love my kids, but I don't know what got in my mind in my 30s. I felt like I had to have a kid, then another kid. And look, yeah, she loved her kids, but what I can tell you is be careful. Keeping up with Bree, straight pear coochie, 99 cents for keeping up with Bree. I will masturbate to a girl that looks like Bree on xnxx.com, but there is a time and a place for everything. And the place right now is to show Bree love and respect and to encourage her that if she wants to be married, if she wants to be single, whatever, that's her choice. If she wants to have a child, that's her choice. But look at your recurring patterns. If you know you struggle with responsibility and stress, you don't need a kid. You just need to maintain a job and maintain your sanity. If you know that being in relationships with men while initially spike you, but then crash you into a deep depression, you don't need to go on Match.com. You need to manage your time. You got through another day single. Keeping up with Bree, I love you no matter what you decide in life. And I pray the best for you. It's okay to be in love. I want to thank God. Bree, I want you to thank God for every relationship you've been in, even the bad ones. They're a blessing. But I want you to remember, so is being single. We love you. Keeping up with Bree, I thank you. Erin, you are the best person in the world. I was going to say social worker, but why should I limit you to just your occupation? You, Erin, can do whatever you want in the future. Why? Because as you've downsized, you're living in your car, stay flexible on your future. Look at your recurring patterns. Erin, you're in your 40s, I believe. Now you have enough data to look at your recurring patterns. You had 2 children, you had a house, you had relationships. I remember you once told me you were in an Australia strip club and you had your titties out. What has your life taught you? Well, life teaches us there's a season for everything. It also teaches us that as we get older, our titties go back into our shirt and our desires are still there. You're still a woman. You still want to feel pretty and respected and inspired. Is there a man out there for you? Well, there is, but he's a lot of work to take care of. Just like there's a lot of work to take care of. So you've already been a social worker. You did enough. Take care of yourself. Never forget it. Oh, Matthew 199. Matthew, bless you, brother. Matthew, thank you for that gracious tip. I'm showing up. I'm doing the best I can to be under self-control, but to be inspired, to give a focused message. And I thank you, Matthew. I thank you, every member in here tonight. I thank you, all the positive people that clicked that thumbs up. Thank you. Leave a comment below. I'm live right now, 40 minutes. Erin, you're smart. Let's take a hydration break. Pause for a moment. Let's do it, guys. Matthew says Ukrainian robots will take over. Scroll up and Preston comments. I'm going to go back to all live comments now. Thank you. Thank you, Matthew. I believe I left off at Dan. Do you have a bucket list? I, I would say I pretty much accomplished everything on my bucket list other than to be a multimillionaire. That's my next thing. And then, like I say, I already had a home base, so the home base is going to be cherry on the top, but I may not ever buy a house again. My main objective now in phase 3 is to be a multimillionaire, and even if I work, never have to work. So I'm not going to quit working until I have 5 years of tax returns showing that I have sustainable income that I can live off, and I want to quit. And I wouldn't never quit a job until I had all those things. And look, I've worked so hard to build my career. I work with good people. I kind of enjoy what I do. So, to me, the multimillionaire is the only thing left on the bucket list. Good question. Thank you. John, thank you again. Suitcase, good to see you, brother. AR6, thanks for the advice, Nomad. Thank you. And Pat Go. Pat Go is an awesome person. I truly appreciate it. Thank you, AR6, for the positive comment. Keeping up with Bree. I want to tell you, my job is literally sitting for 8 hours, basically babysitting and being a therapist for people in crisis. That's a big demand for people that are willing to deal with that. That's going to burn you out. Be careful. No backbreaking. Yeah, but that's mental breaking. Hearing people's problems for 8 hours, why you say, yeah, I don't have to run and clean diapers or clean beds and get medicine. But your mind has pretty much got to be a junkyard. Your mind is pretty much a landfill for other people's negative minds. Ask Erin. She's a social worker. She's got to deal with this. But I respect what you're saying, that you had to make the decision for you. And I think that as long as you transition to another job and you didn't get out of the workforce, that is the best thing you did. And then she goes, not backbreaking work. Nothing, just being a companion for double the amount of money. Well, it's good to double your money. But I could tell you, everything new is nice initially. It's the long-term effects, just like living in your car. At the beginning, everyone tells me, oh, I just traveled, I just did this, I just did that. 5 years after that, they're not there. You get a new job or you do that, and then 5 years, you're not there. So the main thing I would say, especially to my younger people, you want to stay at a job for 3 to 5 years. Why? That shows that you have the tenacity to solve problems, to build relationships, and to overcome resistance of the workforce, no matter what you do. But I am happy that you transitioned to how you felt you needed to. Keep it up, Bree. The job is what I wanted since my teenage years. Well, then you're doing you. And I finally got it. I'm proud of you. Happy for you. I will never go back to such hard backbreaking nurse work. It's miserable. Well, if you didn't do that, you may not be where you are. And it's good to have something to fall back on, especially nursing. Nursing is an upper middle class job that just about anyone can get. So if people complain, oh, the only jobs that are available is, working at the supermarket, which my mom worked at the supermarket, so I don't look down on that, so I don't want to hear that. Then the number two thing is, all right, well, if you want a better job, go be a nurse. And so there's plenty of opportunities, whether you want to work any job or whether you want to work in the nursing industry. Now, I hated construction, just like you. It was backbreaking work, so I empathize. But I did it for 10 years, 5 years to get my credentials, 3 more years to get it mastered, and then I transitioned 10 years. I did that in my 20s and 30s. Was it worth it? Now it is, because I wouldn't be where I'm at without that. But it's a different time and era, but there's still always going to be that need to pay your dues for a few years. And for those who try to skip that season of their life for paying their dues, they will always quit a job after 2 years. They will always go back to the bottom of the totem pole, and they will develop an insecurity. Then they will leave the workforce. Then they will have to share an apartment with others. Then they will destroy themselves because they feel bad about themselves. That's why self-care, that's why a positive support system, and that's why the management of time. Because what can happen, Bree, is if you sit on your ass for 8 hours, then you come home and you eat and you watch TV, now you're going to be obese. Then, as you get into your 40s, your metabolism drops down. Now you sit all day at work, you sit all day at the house, and now you don't even have the physical ability to do anything active. Now, if you get laid off or if you have to change jobs in your 40s, you could get fucked. So it's okay that you sit all day, but you better be on top of self-care when you get out of that job. Because this is the problem when you feel resistance and you just don't do anything. If you always look for the easy way out, you'll never push yourself to the gym. You'll never push yourself to go for a walk. I've been obese. And what I can tell you is I worked a night shift. I got into this little bit of an algorithm where it's good to get an easy job at a season of your life. But if you get too complacent, you can really go down quick. That's from my experience. I'm not saying that applies necessarily to you, but something to think about. Self-care has got to be number one. Good job. Melvano, good to see you. John, low impact biking, 4 days. Here we go, self-care. A week of upper body dynamic tension, 3 days a week. Build up slowly. Melvano, you're on top of it. Self-care, good to see you. Veronica, hey, Veronica. Keeping up a Brie, we love you. All because of you, Sam. You did it. I don't get any credit for your best life. You motivated me. You did the work of your life. A lot to change my routine. That's key. And change up my life. Huge. And be aggressive about my goals. Well, I want to tell you this, keeping up a Brie. When you reach a goal, that's not the end. Then you have to sustain that goal. When you have a goal to get a job, it's not getting the job, it's keeping the job for 3 years. When you have a goal to be a millionaire, it's not getting $1 million, it's keeping $1 million for 3 years without losing it, trying to double it. The biggest thing in life is not just obtaining a goal, it's sustaining a goal. I could eat nothing, which I pretty much did for 3 years. I ate just enough to survive. The goal was to lose weight. But then I got such to a point where, all right, I don't want to just have to starve myself every day. I got to figure out how I can sustain a healthy weight. So it's not just the goal to get to the point. Then it becomes the goal to sustain a good point. Never forget it. Click that thumbs up if you haven't. Thank you to everyone who watches. Paul, do at least 10,000 steps a day. I agree with this. That's about 5 miles. And cut out sugar. Now, I agree with that as well, as best you can. You got to have a little sugar, but not too much, except fruits and honeys. You got to have a little extra sugar, but you are correct for the most part. Keep it up with Bria. Thank you. Pear emoji. Sausage. Erin, 3 van emojis. Erin's living out of a van. She raised 2 kids. She maintained a job. I think Erin desires a house. I kind of don't. But I may get a house before Erin. But I may not. But Erin, and everyone who's a nomad that wants to get a house, you're not in a competition with me or anyone else to live on the road longer than anyone else. If you want to get back into a house or an apartment, don't feel bad. Just do this. Look at why you left in a house or an apartment. Did you leave because it wasn't in an area you wanted to live? Did you sell the house because it was too big? So then remember that when you go to get back into the conforming life. Only buy a house or rent an apartment where it's where you want to live and it's a small enough square footage where it's manageable. That's the key. The key is not to try to live in your car forever. The key is to build a lifestyle that you enjoy your daily routine. It's healthy, positive, and your best life. Good job. Keeping up a Brady, 2 hearts right back at you. Aaron's 47. Don't look a day over 37. Now that's what your avatar shows me. But even if you looked older than that, Aaron, I want to tell you, you're the one of the people in life. I think you're physically beautiful, but I think you have an awesome, beautiful soul. Now, again, I could never live with you, not because I don't respect you. But I just, for me, I have a tough time living with anyone because I like my stuff and I want people to have their space. So I'm saying that to say you can admire, respect, and be attracted to someone. But you also then have to know what you need. And Aaron, as an empathetic person, which you are, I can relate to, as a social worker, which I'm a YouTuber, basically the same thing, what I can tell you is you have to learn to know. Matthew, I don't know, did I miss someone's comment? Because I don't see that I missed it. Paul, no kids yet, but I'm definitely want my legacy to carry on my son, Lord willing. Well, that's all pride. That's your decision. But you probably are not happy without a kid. So that means that you have to force a child into this world. That to me is a poor excuse for having a child. It's all based on your pride. But You may be trolling me, or you may just end up being a troll father. But with that prideful thing, don't say Lord willing. Say that I am God and I need my seed to carry on. Because you look at yourself like God. Yep, whatever, man. Aaron, what's the plan? Oh, that's the plan. Oh, that's the plan. Love to you. Matthew, yeah, I read this already. I didn't see Preston Smith's comment. Could you type it again? Forgive me, Matthew. Pedro, the only thing a person has in the United States of America is freedom, or job opportunities, or paved roads, infrastructure, Wi-Fi. What else do you want? It's just bills. I disagree with you. What do you do for a living? You're probably just not doing anything and you want everything. Paul, love to you, brother. Same back to you. Suitcase, I love you, brother. You stay focused. Suitcase is an electrician. Hey, I don't know. Suitcase, there's a lot of people out here, they don't like having electricity. Yeah, they don't think America has a good electrical grid. They should go live in a third world country where there's no electrical grid, no bills. Yeah, let's see how long they last. They bitch when there's no toilet paper. Yeah, wait till they go to a third world country. They'll see. Aaron, Pedro, are you Adam? Preston, did I say something wrong? I don't know what you mean. Does it have to do with Ukraine robots? I don't understand what you're saying. D, hey D, thank you for being a member. Good to see you, D. Just sold your house. Okay, I remember you bought a house and then you didn't want it. Let's read this. D goes, I believe you're in New Hampshire, right? She goes, yeah, just sold house, or Maine. I think New Hampshire. Just sold the house. It's a big relief. I felt more relief the day I sold my house than the day I bought my house. That's fact. I think about that when I go to buy a house again. She goes, just sold the house. Big relief. You probably made money. No more yard work. Thank you, Jesus. Maintenance, no more. And lots of bills. It's true. Time for myself now. Well, D, you remember that in the future. Manage your money. Congratulations. I give you a lot of credit because I know when you bought that house, it wasn't easy. You hung in there. You stayed positive. I hope you made some money. And I know you learned the lesson. And I'm glad you had that experience. And I wish you nothing but the best, D. I thank you. Paul, Bree, we need more people like you. Well, we don't need more people that want to have a kid just to carry on their legacy. That's a poor excuse. Nicole, I am a nurse and I am burnt out. Yeah. Very abusive profession that has left me mentally depleted. How long have you been a nurse? Nicole, how long have you been a nurse? That's what I would like to know. What do you want to do after being a nurse? Where do you live? How many children do you have? Now, I would like to know those answers. Matthew says no prez. I don't understand that. I must have missed something. Suitcase, a.k.a. Conversation Corner. We're digging a ditch tomorrow, Sam. I've done that. I got burnt out. You know what I did? I kept showing up. You know what happens after people who burnt out and they quit? They become broke, and then they pull out their hair. Then they get fat, okay? And then they get even more burnt out. Yeah, you're burnt out now. Quit your job. Yes, I'll tell you. We've got an extra pickaxe, and we need an extra back. Hey guys, look, people. What do you say? What do you say, bro? I say make that damn money, and then as soon as you can, Suitcase, you can become a maintenance electrician in a hospital. Why? Hey, there's a big demand for people that can be a maintenance electrician in a hospital or a maintenance tech in an IT building. That's what I would tell you. So if you're burnt out, what I would tell you is get a job transfer and do self-care. Okay, that's what I would tell you. And downsize and increase your income. Pedro, Aaron Lee, if I have to personally, I'm not sure if I understand this. Bronze Fire, hey Sam, what's up? Good to see you, Bronze Fire. Terry, once you lock into the algorithm of success, you're stacking your money, progressing towards your goals. Often distractions start coming out of the woodwork. Stay focused. Don't risk too much money, self-care, and have an exit strategy. Good job. Nicole's been a nurse for 12 years. I just quit 2 months ago. Kids are grown. Single, just moved into my car last week. What do you do now for a living? You're going to be broke. You're going to be living with your kids when you're old. You're going to have below average Social Security. Okay. And to me, I don't feel good about any of those comments. That's my opinion. I don't know your whole story, but that's how I feel initially. Paul, I eat at least on a meal a day and fast for at least 12 hours. Well, you're over-religious. You're going to put too much of a burden on your child. You're irresponsible. You should get a vasectomy. Biden, give this guy a vasectomy because he's going to be a religious fanatic who forces religion on his child. The wife is going to fucking take his money, rightfully so, and then divorce this scumbag and let him become men going their own way. Yeah, nah, come on, man. I don't want to hear this. Matthew, you're welcome, sir. Move where that came from, Yosemite, Sam. More where that came. Oh, Yosemite? You're from, oh no. You told me Yosemite, Sam? Thank you, Matthew. AR6. I still want to hold onto my youth and do youthful things before I enter adulthood. I'm not mad at that. Yet, if I truly want to live the lifestyle that I desire, be diligent and productive. There you go. I must sacrifice, yes. And if you can make your life easier, I'm not anti that, but responsibly do it. Why? Because people who go from burnt out to doing nothing, oh, their life gets worse real quick. Escalation of poverty. Aaron, laughing Pedro, you have the same writing style as Adam. Yeah, it's tough to tell people online. Aaron, you're smart. D is in, oh yeah, Rhode Island. Damn it, you nailed it. I'm in New Hampshire. And I knew you were in New Hampshire. Yep, Rhode Island. You're right, Aaron. View to Bill. How do you stay cool in your car? You don't, you sweat, but I do have a fan that runs at night, but you sacrifice a little bit. They lived for hundreds of years without air conditioner. Never forget it. AR6. While I know the harder path is right, the overall decision conflicting and somewhat stressful. It's an adult decision. View to Bill. How do you stay cool in your car? Just answered that. Thank you. Aaron, congrats, D. Yes. Nicole. Yeah, I read that already, Nicole. Best of luck to you living in your car. Didn't sound, whatever. I want to stay positive. Paul. Yeah, Paul, you are too rigid, and I think you may have mental problems, and you're going to pass that on to your child. I would love to give you a mental evaluation before you even think about having a child, because I feel like, you got mental issues. Aaron. Nicole, have you considered being a school nurse with kids? Nah, she got burnt out. She quit. She's living in her car now. D. Good memory, Aaron. Broken leg, still not healed. Yeah, see, when you get sick or hurt or injured, that's why you got to really think about have an exit strategy to get off the road. But you don't need to own, but you need to think about that. Thank you, D, for reminding us of that. Key number 3. Nursing is not enjoyable. Well, there's a lot of ways to nurse. You don't have to do just the physical things. You can be a medical biller. You can do the billing for medical work. She goes, nursing is not enjoyable whether you work with kids at a hospital. No work is enjoyable. That's why it's work. Now, I do agree that you should try to transition to something you enjoy more. But if you do that too early or too often, it's going to suck. It's not easy. Now, I respect it. A lot of things I've done not easy either. I say try to get out as soon as you can. I'm not mad at that responsibly, Nicole. Yes, but she just quit her job. Don't leave until you have another job. I agree with that. Paul, I'm a brother. I'm not religious. Yeah, now you're religious. I'm seeing all the stuff here. I've been religious for a season of my life. I don't want to judge you. But by all the things you said, not very good. View, laughing good. Pat, I'm sorry, D. D's on the heel. Thank you, Pat. Nicole, I was a traveling nurse working COVID. Okay, now you're an unemployed nurse living in your car. I saved money to hold me over. Well, now it's going to burn up fast. I could figure out a new plan. Well, best of luck to you while you live in your car and burn up your savings. And you get older and you may have to live with your children. That may be your exit strategy. Should that scare you? Nope. Should quitting your job without another job scaring you? Yep. Why? Because, guys, you always need money in this world. And until you calculate it and tax returns to prove it, you're going to be more scared. But again, everyone should do what they want. These are my opinions and my lessons that I've learned 5 years living in a car. Jose, question about how to handle taxes while being a nomad. If you don't have a stable home, apartment, what kind of address do you get? Talk to a lawyer and look up domicile addresses. Aaron, hey, Pat, hey. Guys and girls, I hope my videos helped you. I'm sorry, I know I was rough on a couple people, but I love you. Do whatever you want, guys and girls. I respect everyone. No disrespect. Nicole, I love you. Bree, I love you. Everyone, I love you. I apologize. Again, I know I'm rough at times. I know that comes across rough. I don't want to hurt people. I love you. I want you to be in a good place, whether you change jobs or you retire. I want you to be in a good place. If you figured it out, if you've done the math, don't worry about what I've said. You live your own life. I want everyone to live a great life. Okay? But I don't want you to force a child into this world to carry on your legacy. When you are so religious, you can't masturbate and go to the buffet. And then you can't go on a diet. And then you can't balance it. You can't listen to any other religious philosophy, or you can't become an atheist. You have OCD. You're mentally ill. You should not have kids. You should work on yourself. A person who can't manage their own life should not be a leader. That'll keep you busy the rest of your life. Nicole, I love you. Thank you. John, I thank you. ESP, I love you. Conscious Self, watched your video 5 years ago. You sounded more energetic. Well, I'm 5 years older. Now I sound richer and less tolerant of the bullshit. Wait till I get my money right. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, Conscious Self. No, I know what you mean. Okay. And what I could tell you, Conscious Self, you come in here and we always kind of have this thing because I don't know how conscious you are. If you were conscious, you would know 5 years is 5 years of aging. You would know the message of my video should be more important than how I sound or how I look. But you are probably wanting to get with me. You're probably underemployed and you are probably trolling and you've probably been in your house all day and you are probably not conscious of self. You're focused on me. You're focused on how I was 5 years ago. How are you 5 years ago, Conscious Self? That's what I would like to know. How were you 5 years ago? Were you still playing video games? Were you still watching YouTube? What profile did you have 5 years ago? Conscious Self. Remember, focus on thyself. Or else call yourself Conscious Sammy. Conscious Inspirational Nomad. Hey guys, look. I love you. But I don't want to get with you. I don't want to be your social worker. I don't want to do a meet and greet. What I want to do, okay, is wish the best for you. Okay. But I don't want to figure out what profile you decide to use tonight. What psychological game you decide to play. Why? Life's too short for that, man. Let's have a good time. D, thanks, Pat. Yeah, Pat, go. I love you, Aaron. Blue, thank you. Straight Truth. I love everyone. ESP, at D, thumbs up. D, I see a man who has come into himself. D, I love you. D, what I want to tell you in the YouTube world, you got ugly people who judge your looks. You got mentally ill people who want to have children, then want to quote scripture. You have unemployed people who talk about they're burnt out. And what I want to tell you in this world, it's you got to take it one day at a time. Bo, you can only be a true nomad if you're financially independent, which you obviously are. I commend you 5 years. Well, I thank you. I thank the grace of God, and I thank you, Pedro. There's not many people that know that I am an owner of Ford Assembly, blah, 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 with state tax. Like I said, Pedro, I'm not your accountant, bro. I love you, man, but I'm not your H&R Block accountant. I recommend get a CPA accountant and tell him or her your occupation. Not me. I ain't doing your taxes, man. I love you guys. See you next one.